What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, and I'm here for the news. And here recently, in the past week, there was 4 Americans who traveled into Mexico, reportedly to get cosmetic surgery. 2 Americans are dead, and the other 2 were kidnapped. Now they have been found. 2 of them has been returned, but the other 2 were reportedly shot and killed. Now, they're saying they went over there for cosmetic surgery. Maybe they were going to get their teeth done, or a Brazilian butt lift, or getting some fat sucked out of her belly. But it doesn't take 3 black men to take 1 black woman to Mexico. Some people are guessing that it was drug related. Do I believe that? Yes, I would. I could see them going in there trying to buy some cheap prescription drugs and flipping them. But major drugs, no. One thing the Negro doesn't do is going to Mexico to get their drugs. They let the Mexicans bring them over. Then the Negro will get his drugs that way. The chances of them to going to get real hardcore narcotics are very slim. And if they did that, you can't be surprised that this happened. But I have a feeling that they went over there for maybe a cosmetic, but also to hit some of them cheap ass pharmacies up, get some cheap prescription drugs, and flip them back in their hometowns. Was this a case of mistaken identity? Could have been. I'm assuming so. The reason why I say that is because how fast they track these people down. And these are Negroes. And how fast and how fast they wanted to figure out who did what, when, where, and why. Now they know the cartels was involved, but do the cartels want to be killing Americans, even Negro ones? Not really, it's bad for business. The cartels pretty much control everything in Mexico at this point. So you don't want to be messing up the big money of tourism. But let's take a look at the clip.
All right, we're turning now to the latest on the kidnapping of 4 Americans in Mexico. Mexican authorities say at least 1 person has now been arrested after 2 of the people were found dead. ABC's Melissa Adan has more on the search continues for the other suspects involved.
2 Americans found alive are now back safe in the U.S. after a chilling kidnapping at gunpoint in Matamoros, the Mexican border city of Brownsville, Texas. At least one of the survivors was seen in the back of that pickup truck. 2 other Americans were killed. Authorities identifying the
And I'm going to tell you one thing that now I'm listening to this. Not one time did they say black Americans. Even when it first happened, they referred to all of them as Americans. That's odd for the American media. They always make a distinction to make sure you know what race they was. Black Americans. When it's white Americans, they just say Americans. Black Americans, they always throw that in. So that's interesting too.
Americans as Lativia Tay McGee, Shaheed Woodard, Zindell Brown, and Eric Williams. This is the moment the 2
And looking at them, none of them look like major big-time drug dealers. Hey, as a Negro, you know what a big-time drug dealer look like. He'd have been standing in front of a Range Rover. He'd had a necklace that looked like the baby from Cash Money gave it to him. He'd had some money, the money spread on his arms. I ain't gonna lie, them look like 4 regular Negroes.
Surviving victims made it back to U.S. soil, awaiting an ambulance. Eric Williams called his wife as he was being transported to a hospital in Texas.
It was just tears of joy, I guess, that he's alive.
Mexican officials say he...
Oh, yeah, that's a regular Negro. You see his old lady? She looked like she'd been to rehab twice. Yeah, she didn't fail at least once on the drug rehab. Yeah, she didn't fuck with some meth. Maybe a little fent. Yeah, maybe a little fentanyl. I don't know. But goddamn it, she most definitely went to rehab once. And most definitely went back to fentanyl. At least once. Let's take a look at her again. One more time.
Wife, as he was being transported to a hospital in Texas.
It was just tears of joy, I guess, that he's alive.
Mexican officials
Yeah, she got a little dope fiend in her.
shot in the leg.
I didn't want to imagine what he was going through.
Shahid Woodard and Zindel Brown killed during the kidnapping. Their bodies now headed back to the U.S. The other survivor is Lativia Tane McGee.
Oh no, I was taking his loss. I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God.
According to her family, McGee traveled with the others from Lake City, South Carolina to Mexico to get cosmetic surgery. When the four crossed into Matamoros on Friday,
Oh yeah, that's a far ass way to drive. These wasn't no shit. These ain't no major fucking drug dealers. Let me tell you what did happen. Was she going to get cosmetic surgery? Maybe so, maybe not. But they most definitely want to hit some of the Mexican pharmacies up, which is legal to buy it in Mexico. You know, maybe sneak a little bit back, but I ain't nothing major. They wasn't going to get no keys of coke. I fucking bet my bottom dollar on that shit. Hell no. You drove from South Carolina. They didn't even fly to Texas and then got rid of it. They drove from South Carolina. Oh yeah, that's some broke nigga shit. Yeah, there ain't no doubt about that. No. And then they were going to have to drive all the way back to South Carolina with the little small amount of prescription drugs. That's if you was able to sneak it back into America and then hopefully flip it for a small little profit. Yeah, these were some small time, some small fries that got caught up in the mix. I think this was a case of mistaken identity and they just got their ass tore off the bone. Yeah, these are some regular niggas. Yeah, no doubt about it, you guys. No doubt about it.
her family says armed gunmen in body armor chased them, opening fire on their white minivan. The gunmen then kidnapping the group. A Mexican bystander also killed. Mexican officials say it was a case of mistaken identity. A source close to the investigation telling ABC News that investigators believe the gunmen may have targeted the vehicle because they wrongly believed the group of Americans were rival human traffickers. Melissa Don, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now, what the rival cartels thought they was or what, I don't know. But I can tell you for a fact, these four people aren't no major drug dealers. She could have been going to get cosmetic surgery. That's highly feasible. But they also was going to hit the little Mexican pharmacies, get a little, some little perks and, little perk 30s and maybe try to find some cough syrup and, that type of little goofball nigga shit. And got theyself caught up in some cartel shit and got their ass tore off the bone. They killed 2 and kidnapped 2. And the police found them motherfuckers immediately because that's why I think it was a case of mistaken identity, because they found everybody way too fast. Because in Mexico, if they don't want you found, they not gonna find you. Once that the word got back that, hey, them ain't the motherfuckers we were supposed to get, the cartels was like, give them back. Give them back the bodies. Give them back every fucking thing. Because, like I said, the cartels run everything in Mexico, including tourism. This is bad for business all across the board. All the conspiracy theories you hear, I'm not buying that shit no more. Yeah, I'm looking at this shit, how fast they found all these people. Believe you me, the cartels know how to make people disappear. This was a case of mistaken identity. That's why the other 2 was able to get back. Because if they were targeted, none of them would have lived. They all would have died in Mexico. But they didn't. 2 of them was fortunate enough, through the grace of God, to make it out of that. The other 2, God rest their soul. It was unfortunate for them, but they just got caught in the crossfire. Yeah, Negroes don't go to Mexico to get their drugs. Not major drugs, not cocaine, heroin, fentanyl. But they will go and try to get some shit from the pharmacies for the low and try to flip it for the high. That's my theory on what I think happened. Would I bet $1? Would I bet my money against that? 100%. No doubt about it. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. The moral of the story is, Get your drugs in America. Don't go to Mexico. Or be like me. Be drug free. But I'm Samuel Koppel. This has been Sports, Life, and Politics TV. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. I just took your ass. Don't go into Mexico looking for drugs. Ride. Peace.